Well, we got another lance in here. We're gonna go up and take a look at what we got. Oh man, I think we're gonna have to remove this whole entire shell, put a whole brand new one on, because I'm seeing some serious damage here. Let me show it to you. Oh man, can you believe this? This whole thing is infected now. It's been jinxed. It's got the Uba Duba CW hex on it. Alright, so we are obviously taking all of this off. You can see they just put more on. Something wrong with that system. Ooh, look at all that butyl pucky underneath there. So, got butyl. I see people all the time on these Facebook forums and so forth. They say, oh yeah, use a butyl, it's great. If butyl is so good, they got a piece under here. Why am I looking at a rusty screw? It doesn't seal. We don't use that stuff. So I'm hoping the roof deck is okay. I don't know how bad it is. So obviously brought it in here for some reason. I'm not sure. I think there was a crack up here. I'm trying to see where it is. I thought there was a crack up. Oh, here it is, right here. Oh, we're probably going to end up repairing this, and then what we'll do is probably just put a sheet of vinyl over it to make it look good. But this is their idea of sealing everything. Just slobbering more on. If you own a camper, you know the routine. So, not a fan of it. Overall, though, the roofing in itself looks pretty heavy. This is called a fleece back. That's what it looks like. Where's that guy's glue on there? Yep, there's fleece right there. See it? That's your fleece. So, they have different ones, and some are fleece back, and what we use is a reinforced structured membrane. It's different than the fleece back, so it's a little heavier, a little more rigid, and it's a 60 mil, so it's a little bit thicker. But nonetheless, I mean, it's not a bad membrane. I don't think it's a terrible membrane. It's just the insulation. You really need to have these curbs on here, so you can do this yourself. And I preach this all the time. The reason you have to keep going around this thing is because they're trying to skirt around the fact that you need curbs. But go online, in the search bar, put commercial roof images or just commercial roofs. And then you'll see at the top where you can select all, and then it'll say images and different things that you can select on the top. Select images, and you can do this anywhere in the world. You can put Brazil, you can put Germany, you can put Italy, UK, whatever, Scotland, doesn't matter. Put something in there, right? Anywhere in the world, you will see a flat roof or a low slope roof will have curbs. Everywhere. The only place they don't do it is on an RV. But everywhere in the world, they've realized you need curbs to get a flat roof or a low slope roof to function properly. So, but this is the way the RV industry wants this to work, because now when it fails, they can sell you more product. If you add up, you can do your math yourself. There's roughly about 1 million coaches out there. But by the time they sell you self-leveling, by the time they sell you conditioners, by the time they sell you the coatings and all this stuff, that is a $1 billion a year industry. Of course they're not going to fix it. There's too much money in it. You know, they'd lose out all that money because you don't need it. The roofs we put on here, you're done. Absolutely done. It's a commercial roof. So let's get to work, tear this apart. I'll show you what's up underneath, and we'll see if there's any damage. But this is a ply foam roof. This is foam right here. There's your roof deck, and there's your ceiling down here. See? Right here. So some people, there's solar. So some people say, hey, I'm going to put solar on my roof. Well, yeah. I mean, you kind of could if you knew where you're going to put it. But how are you going to get a screw to hold an 1/8 inch plywood? So that uplift is going to tear those screws out. That's not smart. So if somebody wants solar, we prep it for solar. But if you don't prep it for solar and have stock in there, either, you know, well, this isn't that thick, you could put wood in there, or you could put right up underneath here, if they were to do it, up underneath the sheathing onto the foam, you can put some steel or something, but you got to have something significant for a screw to bite into. You just can't screw it right into the roof deck and think, hey, yeah, that's good, and then slobber it with self-leveling and think it's not going to come off, because it's probably going to come off. It'll loosen up, and then it'll also get some leaks in it, and you don't want that either. So, but like I said, let's take a minute, take all this off, and then we'll see what we got. And we got to get the awning off of here, and that'll give us an idea of what's going on with this roof, you know. So I don't see anything sticking out right in my face right now of how much water may have gotten inside there. So we'll check it for sure. Go ahead, let's see what we got. Looky there. So if you look at this, look at this here. This looks pretty good. Anybody would say, hey, that's really good. There's no problem with it. Slobber some more on. Then how did this happen? This is delamination. So there's plywood, and the plywood has 3 plies. There's one. There's another ply. This grain's going this way. This grain's going this way, and then the one underneath it is going to be going this way. So it alternates. That's how it gets its strength, and then it's laminated. But look at this. This looks like a good seal. It really does. Obviously it is not. Very deceptive. Alright, so we got our moisture meter out here, because this is where all the damage was. Too many people think that they could just replace it and then that's the end of it. But if there's still moisture in there, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay in there. So right here we're at 0. Right here we got 13, 14 or so. So we're going to do a sample. See what's down inside there. Look at the light. See how it's red? That's overload. So, hey, bring it over here. That's how you know. Once you see moisture in there, you need to find out what's going on with it. So we got some moisture issues for sure. It's sitting on this ceiling panel. We got to get that dried out. See how it's turning red, even though there's nothing on there? That means it's an overload. I don't know what the volume is on this thing. I don't know if it'll get down in there. We'll have to. It won't reach. We'll have to. We're gonna have to cut out what we need, and double check it. It does have a volume on here.
I don't know if it's checked it or nothing.
Well, let us get this all squared away. I think this one over here. Did we check this over here? Make sure that we're good. We're good there. That's all good. So that was just that piece that soaked it up. So we pulled the whole thing out, replaced it with a new one. All right, I figured out how to do the volume. We gotta get that dried out. Move over a little bit. So it looks like it's getting more wet right in here. We're gonna take some of this foam out. All right, so we did take out all that foam. It was all wet. Dried it, mold killed. And I got another issue here. So here's a crack. Obviously hit something. So we got a little ding-a-ling in there. But this goes down past the light. So we're going to take this off. And we're going to, one, we got to fix that anyways. We'll fix it from the other side. And then we'll see what's going on. I don't know. I know it goes all the way down to about here anyways. And I want to get that kind of figured out before we just put it back on. It's all delam. This is delamination. You can see the pieces right there. It's all coming apart. So we're going to clad over it, but here's one piece. So this grain's going this way. The other one underneath's going the other way. And then the other one's going the other way. It alternates back and forth. So, but we are going to end up going over this anyways. But we got to make our repairs here. We'll put in a filler sheet, and then we'll clad over everything all over again. So, but that's all these things are. It's just, you know, you got 1 inch ceiling that they run for 8 foot, And so far you can see right here we haven't got no structure. There's no structure. Yeah, this little frame over here that's going around this box, but it may go all the way across, but they don't usually put any strength in there. This may have it just because it's an air conditioner. Look over this other box right here. There's nothing around that frame. So how do you get things to screw down? This is how you show people. They just, and this is supposed to be a lance, right? This is a lance, not supposed to be. It is a lance. And how do you get something to screw into this? That isn't enough stock to screw something down into. So as the wind is going across this coach and it's pulling on it, because that's what the wind does. A lot of people think it presses down. It does not press down. It kind of pulls up. But just all that wind velocity, if you will, headwind, is going to loosen up all these screws. It just happens. I mean, that is not enough stock. So to loosen those screws up, then it starts leaking, and now it starts rotting. And then when it starts rotting, then you keep trying to put more of that self-leveling on there. It just doesn't fare well that way. You know, you can see just some of the discoloration in here compared to, like, that's a clean sheet. And you can tell some moisture's been getting in there. So, but that's it. That's the way they do them. They just want to get these things built, get them out, get them sold. And it's a shame. Years ago, I think, when Lance come out, they were touted to be one of the best truck bed campers, and I've worked on many a Lance, and I'm just not impressed with them. Just not. But they're all about the same. So, at the risk of sounding like I'm dogging Lance, the whole industry's a mess. So, but anyhow, like you said, we'll end up putting this new piece over here. We're going to glue it all together. Then we'll clad over it, and with another sheet. And then once we get all that, we should be good to go. And like I said, we'll get this other front pylon. We're going to get that off and take a look at it and see what's going on. Onward and upward. All right, so we've already got it redecked. You can see some of this right here. And that's just because of the way it's sat. We like to get it nice and smooth, so we take the time to actually put a sander to it. So we sanded it all down, put some new edging on here. You can see the roof now, there's no glue on it. So we're gonna get glue on it right now. And then once we get it all glued up, roll it to the other side. We got our protective strip on there. We don't need any going across because it was so tight. Didn't need any more, so look good. So then, like I said, we got this one on the back, this other one, and we're getting ready to roll this out. So we did all the repairs to show you the new foam. Then we got the front shell. We got that all squared away. We put some new wood in there, and then we got to patch this. This is just epoxy, but it's all set. It's ready to go. So we just cleaned it up, got rid of that rot that was in there, and then put new pieces in it, and then put it back down. Those, you should have gotten a video on it. They were moving a little quicker, and I was busy building all the curves. I actually just slipped my mind. But anyhow, it's all fixed, and like I said, we'll epoxy that. Once we get this epoxied, you can't just epoxy it and leave it, because the UV light's going to destroy it. So what we'll do is when we get this all squared away, I'm just going to run probably a piece of vinyl on top of this, you know, just to protect it and keep the UV light off of the epoxy. And that should get us just fine. All right, let's get the gluing. Okay, we've got everything all glued, and we just finished rolling it out with that big roller that he's taken away. And now we're going to cut out our holes, and we're going to get our curbs going and get everything welded. All right, we're all done with our lance, ready to go. Made this custom curb. It's 2-in-1. That's a little bit of work to do that, actually. All the curbs you see, these are all curbs. That one there, the one for the air conditioner. That's for an antenna, but he didn't want to put the antenna back on, so we just left it there in case somebody down the road wants to. Didn't need the luggage rails on here, and even the curb up there for the vent, the one for the refrigerator. All of these we custom make here at the shop. I don't sell anything. So you can see the air conditioner is actually working. Look at that going on. You see that water right there. So even for the solar, all this stuff we custom do here. So this roof system here is a 20-year material warranty, and a lot of people get these warranties mixed up. You start hearing some nonsense from these spray guys, these roll-on guys, and these coatings and everything's lifetime. There's no such thing as a lifetime. So if you look at the coating systems that they use for like Flex Armor or RV Armor, you need to look at the actual warranty. And what they're telling you is that the material, this material, or their material, is 20-year material. So, and again, you want to read the warranty, and I know it specifically in Flex Armors, it'll say should last. If you go way down the bottom and read the fine print, it'll say should last 20 years. And you're going to be responsible for putting another coating on at your expense, okay? So, keeping all that in mind, that's what I'm trying to tell you, the way warranties work. So, this warranty is the same thing, but they're saying theirs is lifetime. Technically, this is lifetime. You don't have to replace this roof. You can coat this roof afterwards. That was the whole idea of coatings, was for commercial roofs, for a roof system like this. So you need to have curbs on there. That's going to redirect water away from the vent and away from, you know, the vent here. These boots redirect water around here. This is a flashing detail. That's what it's called. And this is a commercial grade 60 mil. That's the thickness of it. 60 mil commercial grade TPO. That's why we can heat weld it. Everything is all heat welded around there. All these boots, these are all heat welded, and we got a special pourable sealer that goes in here to make sure that it stays flexible all the time. All of the that's a solar fan, but that's all heat welded. All around the curves and everything is all heat welded, and they all have what's known as counter flashing. So if you were to get on, I know like RV Armor, they have a video, and on their FAQs they ask what they do about air conditioners, and they'll tell you that on an air conditioner you could possibly still have leaks because it's just sitting down on the foam gasket. But within the 1 minute mark of that video, he'll admit that if this was a commercial roof, it would have curbs on it with flashing and counter flashing, and that's exactly what we did on here. So I'm just showing you the differences here, because a lot of people, you know, granted you like to save money, but you want to put on the best system and get some long-term results out of it, and then also you want to be able to possibly repair things. So we designed this roof system where people can come right behind us if they had to. If you had to replace that vent, you can take those screws out, pull the vent, release the caulk, and put a new one down. On here, on the air conditioner, you can do the same thing. You pop it up, put it on there. It's the same. All it is elevate it up. Same with the skylight. You can't do that with the coating systems. You have to break it all apart, and then you have to get with them to get the material, or bring it to them. Either or. They have a couple of different ordeals of how they go about it, but that's how it works. You have to get with them to get it resealed. Where, you know, these, you can pop it right off and reseal it yourself. If you need to know the product and all that stuff, we can always help you out with it. So the way, again, that's the way the warranty is on the material, is 20 years. We like to see them come back. Now, if the customer wants to make sure all the caulking is all squared away, sure, it's not going to affect the warranty of the material. So if they want to bring it, we like to see them come back. The inspections are free. So that's how that works. You can come back. Ideally, I would like to see this come back in like 60 days, because I can check it out and make sure everything, you know, this thing, the way it moves and shakes and gets all that headwind and so on and so forth. Then we can see how things are sitting, make sure we addressed all the problems with this particular lens. Then you come back once a year and we keep checking things out. But if the customer wants to do it, that's fine. I just don't want anybody getting mad at me if they miss something and then it turns out to be, you know, some damage under there, and they go, hey, you know, and you go, well, you didn't check it. This is all commercial grade. Very, very rarely you're going to have any issues, but it's still smart to inspect it. It's not like RV grade at all. So all that said, the maintenance on this in regards to washing it, that's all you have to do. Dish soap, wash it right up. We had a couple issues up here that we fixed, and I was going to put a skin on it, but we ended up putting a pigment in here, so we may end up watching that. And then I did the same over here. There was a tiny little one right there, so we just put some pigmentation in it, and that should reflect the UV light off of it. So we kind of let all that information forward it to the customer. I want to thank the customer for bringing it all the way down I know they came quite a bit. I can't remember where they were from, but I believe he told me he had like an 8-hour drive. I'm trying to see if I can, but I'm guessing it was probably somewhere up in Michigan way or something. Michigan, Wisconsin, up that way. But we appreciate it. So the way this skylights work, first off, you can see there's no screws in here. We don't put screws in them. We solely glue them down. You put screws in them. These expand a lot. And what happens when they expand, then you get a thunder, when they expand and there's a screw here, it's pushing against the screw. Then you get a thunder shower and it contracts, it'll pull against the screw. And that's how you get these little fractures. You'll start seeing these little fractures. So we just solely glue them down and we let the adhesive and everything else work with the lens, and it minimizes any cracking on there. But now in the winter time, or the cooler times of the year, you're gonna have some frost and you're gonna have some, you know, dew on here. The sun will come up and evaporate it off, but on the inside of this lens, the inside of it, you still have the same dew or condensation frost that's up inside there. So when the sun comes up and heats us up and evaporates that moisture off of there, all it does is warm up the lens, and then what's on the underside of this lens condensates and it rolls down, and it could get into a roof system and is basically known as dry rot. So the way we prevent that is there's a ductwork that goes through here and it goes over there. So when the sun comes up to evaporate this off, the fan is going to kick on. When the fan kicks on, it's going to draw it from there and it's going to bring it up and over and keep that constant air going through there to keep the moisture out. So if that pops off, take this plumbing, put it on top, or take this plumbing and put it on top. That will leak into the coach. So you want to make sure that that one there is taken care of, meaning like there's a cover that stays on that one, right? So obviously you can see we put the same gutters on, and you can see every single one of these screws is sealed. That's very, very important. We got 2 strikes of caulking along the top. So once we glued the gutter on, we don't use any butyl. Then the caulking oozes out, we strike it down, then we go with 1 strike. When that cures, we go with another strike. So there's a lot of, obviously, of caulking that we put on there for to make sure, obviously, it's watertight. And the reason I go with 2 strikes is if you've ever operated a caulking gun and you start squeezing the gun kind of working, you'll hear it pop and crackle, and you just injected an air bubble. So now the coach goes down the road, rack and twist and flexing like they do, and they're going to have movement to it. And you want to stifle that as much as you can, but it's still going to have it. So that all said, that you could possibly have one of those air bubbles breach. And if you do, then you could potentially have a leak. So what are the chances of having one air bubble land on top of another one? Probably slim to none. So that's why we do it that way, to make sure that you know, it's kind of like a fail-safe. If you want to look at it that way, it's a fail-safe. So you want to make sure all that is on there. So here's a card right here. There's all our contact information. These are the 3 colors we offer. They got tan, obviously white, and the gray. And then this, see if I can get this just right. You may be able to see some little squares in there looking like a little screen. That's the reinforcement. There's a nylon mesh built into the membrane, which resists against hail, tree branches, and so forth. So if, in fact, we'll say if a tree branch come down and poked a hole through the roof, you can put a hot patch on it. It's done. It's done. And it'll be just like what's around the curbs, you know. You can do a hot patch. You don't have to do, you know, the roof tape. We do leave folks with a package, and it does have roof tape. That's emergency. But long term, you want to do a hot patch and be done with it. So now as the rain comes down on here, these are all so this is your flashing right here, and this is considered counter flashing, this piece that I made. So what happens is when the water starts coming across, see if this focuses in. Come on, there you go. When the water starts going across, it's going to hit up here and it's going to get redirected around. Air conditioner has the same type of curb. It's got flashing, counter flashing on it. This piece pushes down below here, so the water will wash down here instead of trying to get back up underneath the curb where the foam gasket is. That's why we put that front piece on there. And all of this is all fabricated here, and we don't sell anything at all. We're not a sales shop, or there's nothing we sell. Everything we fabricate and in-house. We're just a service center. So I think that's about it. So we appreciate y'all watching. And then obviously we put our little stamp on the back of, I think you've all seen them before if you've watched a few of our videos. We put those on there so we can monitor the roof. We know how old it is, how long it's been, that type thing. So if you ever went to sell it, you know, they can say, hey, I just had that roof put on in July of 24. So, but like I said, we appreciate y'all watching. We don't quote on social media. Just give us a call, or you can you know, send us an email or something. You can do that. Let's see, what else did I miss? If you like the video, I guess if you hit the like button, other people can find the video from what I hear. I don't know. I'm not a YouTuber. So let's see what else. I think I got everything. So we appreciate. We do have a Facebook. If you want to go there, it's RV Roof Install. You know, we also have a group that we started too. So not very good at all this social media stuff, but I try to figure it out, I guess. We appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you on the next one. So this is what they had under the decking. This is all rotted, and then they have this underneath it. This is where the ladder is. Ladder come up, all rotted, and then we had some rot over here that we're taking out. That was all de-lamed, so we cut that nice square out, and we're going to replace that, and then we're going to reskin everything. And I think we had some, was there some rot under here? Yeah, that's a little bit of something here. We'll see if we can investigate that so it doesn't turn into an issue. But this is what I say, I mean, if they were putting all this self-leveling on here, why do I have rust through the roofing, and also all the way down to this here? I don't know why they had this paper on here. It must have been a piece of scrap they used. That's the only thing I can think of that they had this on there, but that's the way it is. So, and then the other side, you can see right here, that's just the bottom of it. It didn't go in this way, and the other way. That's how you can see the holes right there from where the ladder mount was. So. Alright, well, let us get to work, and we're going to get her fixed up. Care package. Right. So in our care package we have caulking, we got primer, we have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch peel and stick pack. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, it will simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through, and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. So what you want to do? And it's raining out. Right now it's raining. You're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you're trying to do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. You squeeze, squeeze. You want to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Get some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're going to go up there, and that's going to be cured looking like that. So we're going to take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just going to obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're going to do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to talk about, man? Nope, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. This is a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape. That's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. There it is. Now you got the film. You take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back. Once you get it all primed, then you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. It doesn't all sit in there. You can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of. There's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, the whole purpose of it is this part here. This part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.